the feminists are heaping praise on The Rock right now because he reportedly gave us a masterclass in asking for consent when he was on the Drew Barrymore show the other day. So Drew Barrymore, she comes out dressed up as The Rock from the 90s, fanny pack and all.
I'm going to show the
wig
the
and everything.
Here's a picture of her with, you can kind of see.
He's holding her up on his shoulders, as you can see. This is a lot of physical contact.
A couple of years ago, I think he actually did put this outfit back on. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, man, that really was a look back in the fanny pack, the blue jeans. I mean, how he's dressed now, or back then, it's just how women dress now.
Actually, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
that's I wish I could erase that from my mind.
Sorry to say.
So basically, Drew Barrymore is sitting with The Rock, and she asks The Rock to do squats with her over his shoulders, and he proceeded to meticulously obtain consent from Drew Barrymore.
Right, as you should.
Yeah, in order to engage in physical contact. And he is teaching all of the ignorant men out there how you should treat a woman, because The Rock, he respects women. He's better than everyone else on the planet. So let's take a look at that video where he does the squats. It was actually cute. It was kind of cute.
Okay, so before we watch this, I do want to point out there was once a skit. That, so back in the WWE days, this is going to seem like I'm not making sense, but there's a point here. The Rock was part of a stable of wrestlers called the Nation of Domination.
Okay.
And they would feud with DX, Degeneration X. The Nation was like The Rock, Farouk, Mark Henry, and the Nation of Domination was like Triple H, X-Pac, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, all these other wrestlers. And there's a skit where everyone in DX comes out dressed as members of the Nation of Domination, and there is blackface going on. I'm talking
in what year?
In 98.
Okay.
And it's Triple H.
It was the 90s.
Triple H didn't wear the blackface, but X-Pac and even I think it was X-Pac came out as Mark Henry. Mark Henry was like, he's the world's strongest man, so he came out with like cushions around him. So it wasn't just blackface; it was blackface plus fat shaming back in the 90s.
Damn. It was the 90s.
It
sure was.
Triple H came out wearing The Rock's outfit, and he had like a fake afro on and stuff.
Grab you here, and I'm going to put my arm in there. I'm going to put you on my shoulders. Is that cool?
Like a fireman.
Like a fireman's carrot.
He's always asking for consent. Do you think that counts as enthusiastic consent? Because I've heard that's important.
She was going, yes. So I think that would count as enthusiastic consent, which of course you need if you don't want to be reported to the police for a rape. So feminists immediately responded to this with just a chorus of praise for The Rock, because he is giving it a good example for all men out there who need to be trained out of their rapey tendencies. So this outlet called Scary Mommy, I'm not kidding, that's what it's called, they said, sure, she had just asked to be lifted, which implies touching. But Johnson still took a moment to explain where he would need to grab her and confirm that she was giving him consent. This shouldn't seem like a big deal, but it is. While many of us may joke about wishing a big hulking guy like The Rock would sweep us off our feet, the truth of the matter is being lifted requires a lot of physical contact, something that should always require consent.
There was like a visceral reaction on her face to his strength.
Yeah, it was feral. She went fully feral in that moment.
Like a fireman.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, here's the photo, guys.
Oh, goodness. It was a different time.
It was the 90s, guys. Yeah, it's no good. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. The exchange was quick and not at all awkward, proving that asking for consent doesn't need to be cumbersome, even in the moment. Yes, it does. It is cumbersome.
Doing a fireman's carry and squats with a TV host is not the same thing as consent during sex.
Not at all.
They're very
obviously not. So when Drew Barrymore shared this clip, here were some of the comments. The respect this man just showed her by explaining what he was going to do and getting her consent is what everyone needs to learn. The way The Rock asked for consent and explained what he was going to do before doing it, you can tell he's a girl dad. Bravo, sir.
He is a girl dad.
And this is how we do consent. It doesn't need to be weird. This is perfection, says the goth mermaid. Ever the gentleman, getting full consent before touching her, even when it was her idea first. What a class act. I love him. And I didn't think I could love The Rock more. And there he goes, asking for consent and explaining everything, because even though she asked, he still wanted to make her comfortable.
I think he wants to avoid being sued.
I mean, obviously, this is a talk show. I assume that all of this was planned and scripted beforehand.
The Rock is perhaps... What's really funny is a lot of people are really, really enjoying The Rock's current run with WWE. He gets to make his kind of Attitude Era-esque promos. He gets to swear. He's playing a bad guy for the first time in a very long time. And a lot of the wrestlers are upset because they don't feel like they're getting the latitude that he gets. But what's funny about it is him as a bad guy is perfect because he's bad in the complete opposite reason why people don't like him in the real world, which is that he really is the most corporate product in Hollywood. He really is. He is the most play it safe person that there is. He's very inoffensive. Mm-hmm. There isn't a whole lot that feels real about him except for the fact that he's very good at making the average person, a normie, believe that what you're looking at is 110% genuine. And again, I can't say whether that's true or not. I don't know the guy. But I do know that when the average person who does pay attention to this stuff looks at it, they see somebody who's perhaps a bit too polished.
It is hard to believe that someone at his level has never done anything shady before.
Oh, well, I mean, it's wrestling. They've all done.
Yeah.
There's a $20 one here from... Yeah.
Sent $20. The Rock literally did what any instructor does. LOL. I mean, yeah, I don't understand why this is such a groundbreaking moment, but I see that the feminists were taken aback to see this. One of them wrote a very long thread about this, and actually they believe that he shouldn't be praised for doing this.
Why?
Okay, this is said... It was clear she was up for it and excited. She asked the question, which could have implied consent to him. He's widely considered attractive and probably knows that loads of folks would be up for this. Not women, folks.
Yep.
Yet he chooses not to accept implied consent and considers it important to make it clear what each party is consenting to. That is such an important addition to all conversations about consent. It's not just about the end goal, it's about what's going on to get you there. It was a great example, but even as I say that, I'm also aware that this praise he's getting tells us another story. The bar is so low regarding consent. He did a good thing, but it should be the most normal thing in the world. A high expectation for communication, boundaries, and the desire to ensure consent should just be the norm. And I'm tired of celebrating the moments where someone does it when it actually should just be a given.
Well, how about this? If you want this to be the given, then you should celebrate it when it happens so you can encourage people to behave the way you want them to.
No, don't praise a fish for swimming.
Positive reinforcement is far more likely to get you the outcome that you want than negative reinforcement.
Look, Drew Barrymore and her female audience, they all clearly think that The Rock is hot and attractive. I think they wouldn't have had a problem with it if she asked to be carried, to be lifted, and he just went ahead and did it without much warning. Okay, I really don't think that would be that bad of a thing.
Is this literally just handsome privilege? Like if he was ugly, then it's a problem?
I think it might be. Yeah. I mean, I think the handsome privilege would allow him to get away with not asking for consent.
Yeah.
Right? Also, they're saying implied consent isn't good enough. What is implied about her literally asking him to do it?
Yeah.
These people aren't human. They like literally don't understand that body language exists.
Deer Scream says The Rock had to get surgery for gynecomastia. Yes, so there was an era in wrestling.
Is that true?
Yes, so there was this suspicious era in wrestling where for a month or two, The Rock would wrestle instead of in his trunks with no shirt on, he would wrestle in track pants with a top to hide the scars from the surgery.
Oh, until they went away. Why did he have to go to surgery for that?
I would imagine steroids did a number on it back then. I don't know for sure.
I feel like it would be getting off the steroids or off of testosterone because then your body isn't able to to make testosterone at the same levels, right?
But so people are saying like he rode the coattails of Stone Cold. Yes, well, Stone Cold Steve Austin was always the superior draw, in my opinion. But yeah, this discourse around it, like I just wonder if it just seems like a painful existence where this is what you take away from that encounter. It was a relatively harmless encounter, which is just the bread and butter of all daytime television. It's exactly what you appear to be. And if you believe for 1 second that every second of that wasn't choreographed beforehand, you are wrong.
It was off of a written question that was printed out for Drew Barrymore.
She asks, he's like, I'm sorry, my back hurts
no,
today,
thanks.
I can't.
Let's move on. Yeah. Like, no, that wasn't going to happen, obviously.
That's not how those things happen.
I think that these women are lying to themselves about what they want from men, to be honest. With all of these feminists screeching about how they want men to ask for consent, to kiss them, to hold their hand even, for any physical contact whatsoever, they're asking for something that they don't actually want. They don't find that attractive when a guy doesn't just take the lead and take action.
I think it's a debate about real world versus theoretical, meaning like they can have this discussion in a theoretical sense online, but the real world for them would be a very, very different thing. When
everyone knows that, I guess like the look on someone's face is probably a more meaningful yes than them screaming the word yes.
This is decades
in the real world.
The problem is now everybody grows up looking at their phones and nobody can read facial expressions anymore. I still believe the CIA created emojis because the next generation of kids were so brain dead from looking at their phones so constantly. They weren't looking at actual people's faces and can't read people's emotions. Kind of like how they're talking about how kids are developmentally delayed because of COVID and masks.
I still know that they changed the emojis. They updated the emojis for COVID.
Yeah.
Like, they updated the syringe emoji so that it wasn't red anymore.
What's it now?
They changed it to just clear.
Oh.
And then they changed the emoji of the mask on the face to have, like, smiling eyes. It's super sinister.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.